Gala at the Hilton. I'm here with Dr. Marsha Treadwell. Hi. Hello. We're here doing it. Dr. Treadwell is put in that work, and now she's being honored tonight. So here we are in the grand ballroom, the People's Gala. Here we are. I'll give you a 360. You get to go to the front. You get to go to the front.
Whose steady commitment to the whole person just makes me feel honored to be able to companion people who need it the most. I'd also like to thank the formidable ladies of the San Francisco Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated who are here tonight, and my father, who is my date, who continues to teach me. Thank you to the Black Caucus for the invitation to share a few remarks with you this evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Excellent, thank you. This year marks the 100th anniversary of what we now know as Black History Month. And I am truly delighted to be here tonight, gathered in joy. And let me say, joy in and of itself is resistance. Coming together to celebrate our rich history and enduring legacy is an act of strength.
Fourth celebration of the UCSF Black Caucus, we honor a legacy rooted in courage, community, and a sustained commitment to progress. Founded in 1968 amid the Civil Rights Movement, the UCSF Black Caucus grew out of the courageous advocacy of Black workers who organized around opportunity, representation, and community. In the process, they have challenged us to be better, and in doing so, have helped shape who we are as an institution today. Past and present leaders have helped to expand opportunity, strengthen accountability, and inspire us to more fully realize our aspirations as a university.
Chancellor, the entire UCSF family, to the Black Caucus, to our young people, students, to everyone for giving me a chance to be with you for just a few minutes. And also, I just have to say to you, I have many friends, colleagues, some of my mother's physicians came from UCSF, saved her life many times. Dr. Bert Lubin over Children's Hospital, sickle cell anemia.
Yes.
For years. I want to thank everyone who's worked on sickle cell anemia. And as a member of the House of Representatives Appropriations Committee, I had the privilege to work so hard with you on so many of these issues as it relates to health care and the social determinants of health care. So as the first Black woman mayor, I just have to tell you a little story. This is a Sankofa moment for all of us, I know for the Black Caucus. You know, Sankofa is in the Akan language of the Ghanaian people, a bird with an egg in her mouth, looking backwards, flying forwards. Sankofa means, in order to move forward, we have to know where we came from. Right? We have to understand the history and the challenges, our victories, because that's the foundation for us to move forward for our young people. So this Black History Month, especially for myself, is a Sankofa moment. So I have to tell you just one quick little story. So many people want to know more about me, but I just want to tell you this story that may resonate tonight. Once upon a time, there was a Black woman in El Paso, Texas, who was pregnant, and she needed a C-section. She went to the hospital when it was time, and the hospital would not admit her because she was Black. It's quite a story as to how she finally got into the hospital, but it was much, much, much too late when she got into the hospital for a C-section. No medical care when she finally got in. No one tended to her. She was left on a gurney in the hallway. And she became delirious. She started losing consciousness. Someone saw her. They did not know what to do with her. And this Black woman, she was about 22 years old. They took her into the emergency room, actually. And no one knew what to do because she was dying. Mind you, this has been days. Finally, in order to save this Black woman's life and the baby, the doctors decided the only way that they could save this Black woman and this baby was to use forceps and pull this baby out of her mother's womb. And they named that baby Barbara Jean Tutt, AKA Barbara Lee.
Wow.
And I share that story with you because Black maternal mortality rates, Black infant mortality rates, women's health care, women of color, Black women, we still have so many challenges and health disparities that we have to close. And so as the mayor of Oakland, I want you to know that working with Children's Hospital in Oakland gives me a chance to work on these social determinants as well as directly with healthcare, because I know for a fact that addressing poverty, racism, inadequate housing, almost family, food insecurity, all of these issues, which I know you know, contribute to the physical and mental well-being or not of human beings. And so I'm so proud to be standing with you today and with so many Black healthcare workers and students and all of our allies, all of you, because you understand what it means to be a community partner, to use your resources in helping underserved communities, and really understanding, and after 40-some years of having a Black Caucus here, understanding what systemic racism means. And in thinking of Reverend Jackson tonight, and being here, I chaired his Rainbow Coalition for California. I knew him well. He actually performed the wedding ceremony, my son and daughter-in-law, and I visited him December 26th this year in Chicago, knowing it was near the end. But during the 1984 campaign, Jesse was here in San Francisco, and he spoke at the convention, the Democratic Party convention. Shirley Chisholm was there. Shirley was my mentor. The first Black woman elected. And Jesse Jackson seconded the nominating speech for Shirley Chisholm. She was running for president. But Jesse took us on at that convention, and he said that we had to move forward and insist that this democracy become real for everyone. Reverend Jackson and Shirley Chisholm at that convention in San Francisco in 1984 reminded us, and people oftentimes forget and believe that these were cliches that Reverend Jackson used, but in this day and time when you're trying to destroy our democracy, keeping hope alive means something, right?
Yes.
You know what that means. Just think for a moment. When they try to cancel us out, Black people, people of color, women, and call us the other. Remember, Reverend Jackson said, I am somebody. Right? We are somebody.
Yes, we are.
And so, as we celebrate Black History Month, I think it's really important that we remember Reverend Jackson, Shirley Chisholm, all of the Black heroes and sheroes who paved the way so that people like my mother and like so many people here still in this state, in this city, in this country, don't have access to health care because of systemic racism and health disparities and all of the social determinants that you know of. And I think it's important for us to recommit ourselves to really making sure that, as Dr. Maya Angelou reminded us of, in spite of all of the difficulties of being enslaved for 250 years plus, Jim Crow, lynchings, segregation, Proposition 209, the end of DEI, right? We know that, but Maya said, right? And still I rise.
All right.
Still I rise.
In the walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head.
Both their Oakland and San Francisco campuses, together among the top 10 largest pediatric healthcare providers in the nation. And he guides the strategic direction and operations of the entire pediatric system, including our UCSF sites and programs that serve children and families all over the Northern California region. He has served for 15 years in the U.S. Navy, including as head urologist and specialty advisor to the Navy's Surgeon General, helping shape healthcare policy and training. He is a physician, a surgeon, and seasoned executive leader who combines clinical expertise with strategic clarity. Here at UCSF, he is leading through a period of complexity. He is making hard decisions, strengthening our pediatric system, and building a thoughtful and cohesive senior leadership team. In preparation for tonight, I did a little asking around. Those who work closely with him speak on his discipline and vision, and also about the trust he builds and the respect he earns. Now, while he's an exceptional professional, let's get a tiny bit personal. Beyond his years of professional accomplishment, he is deeply grounded in family. He and his husband Gary are the proud fathers of 2 first-year students at the University of Hawaii, and like me, he knows what it's like to be a basketball parent. Even more, he himself is a committed triathlete, which tells you something about his endurance and focus in all aspects of his life. Dr. Holmes brings that same steadiness, discipline, commitment, and care to the work of leading children's health at UCSF. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Nicholas Holmes.
Good evening.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even recognize who that person Letty was describing earlier this evening. So, Letty, thank you for that incredibly warm and gracious introduction. So, distinguished guests, colleagues, mentors, friends, family, and extraordinary leaders of the UCSF Black Caucus who organized tonight's People's Gala. Thank you. It is a profound honor to stand before you all at this celebration of legacy, excellence, and collective responsibility. When I look across this room, I see brilliance. I see sacrifice, I see history, and I know the future of UCSF is strong, with visionary, and unapologetically bright. Tonight is more than a gala, it's more than a gathering of accomplished individuals, dressed in elegance and filled with joy.
Yes.
It really is a living testament to who we have been, who we are, and who we are called to become. This evening celebrates legacy, our legacy. It also issues us a call to action, because legacy simply is not something we inherit, it's something we actively build, protect, and pass forward. As we reflect on the triumphs of those who came before us, we honor not just their accomplishments, but their resilience, their courage, their refusal to shrink in rooms that were never designed with them in mind. Before any of us held leadership titles, positions wearing white coats, faculty appointments, executive roles, there were others. There were Black nurses who endured isolation in units when they were the only. There were Black faculty who mentored quietly, often without recognition, because they understood that survival was not enough. Someone had to thrive after them. Black staff who kept this institution running while carrying the invisible labor of representation. Black students who navigated classrooms where excellence was expected. Because they refused to disappear, we are here today. Legacy is a sacrifice. Legacy is courage practiced repeatedly. It is choosing to remain excellent even when excellence is questioned. Tonight we honor them. The UCSF Black Caucus has been a beacon of hope for 58 years. 58 years of advocacy, 58 years of fellowship, 58 years of building spaces where voices were uplifted, connections forged, and changes born. Not episodic, but embedded. Progress cannot depend on singular heroes and must be structural. That is why initiatives like the Dr. Vivien T. Thomas Scholarship matter. They transform inspiration into infrastructure. They ensure that talented Bay Area students, regardless of financial circumstances, can access education and possibility. Because celebration without commitment becomes nostalgia, and nostalgia does not build futures. The future, our future, requires intentional action. It requires mentoring with purpose, not casual advice, but active sponsorship. Seeing potential where others see obstacles. Opening doors and keeping them open. It requires advocating with courage and hiring and promotion and research funding priorities and clinical protocols and institutional policy. Equity must be operationalized, not simply verbalized. It requires innovation with impact. Our research, clinical work, and leadership must address the health disparities that disproportionately affect our communities. We have the knowledge, we have the platform, we have the obligation. Most importantly, it requires leading with authenticity. Our success is not assimilation into something that someone else wants us to be. Excellence does not mean erasure. Excellence is authenticity combined with mastery. And if we're honest, the future demands three things from us. First, excellence without apology. We shouldn't have to dim our brilliance to make others comfortable. We shouldn't have to make ourselves smaller to fit into someone else's narrative. Excellence is not about blending in. It's about standing fully in who we are while delivering at the highest level. You know, with the recent passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson, it's obviously made an impact on lots of people. I actually remember him seeing him on Sesame Street in 1972. I do, actually I do. That was my Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street were my favorite shows as a child. And I remember the call and response for the poem, I Am Somebody. He even knew then, you can be your best in who you are. If you look at the clip on YouTube, for those who haven't seen it before, you see brown children, you see white children, you see Asian children, you see all different children say that I am somebody because of who you are. Individual success is meaningful, but collective success is transformational. When one of us advances, we must ask, how do we convert this into infrastructure? Is there a scholarship, a structured mentorship pipeline, a leadership development pathway for individuals of color? We must move from inspiration to implementation. We must have courage. There'll be moments when progress feels uncertain, absolutely. And all events that happened this last year and this year, like what's happened in Minnesota, the moment is now. Moments when external climates test institutional resolve, moments when fatigue whispers in your ear, you've done enough, but we haven't. Our predecessors didn't stop when it was harder than it is now. We can't stop when the future is watching. To the students, trainees, and those in your early careers who are here tonight, I want you to hear this clearly. You belong here. And you belong here not just because of statistic, not because of some new initiative, not because someone needed a representation on a brochure. And believe you me, I've been in lots of pictures on brochures because I was the black guy. You belong because you are capable. You belong because you are brilliant. You belong because you earned your place here. But understand this journey, your journey is not simply about titles, accolades, compensation, or prestige. Those are all good, all right? It's about what you build, though. It's about the human connections you will forge. It's about the systems you will reshape. One day, someone will stand on a stage and speak your name as part of their legacy. Live and lead accordingly. So tonight, I challenge each of us to recommit. Mentor someone intentionally. Sponsor someone strategically. Advocate even when it's inconvenient. and build systems that outlast your tenure. Together we can create UCSF where Black excellence is not simply celebrated each year at this gala, but embedded into the DNA of this institution. As I stand here tonight, I am actually filled with hope. I'm a pretty optimistic and hopeful guy despite everything else going on in the world. Not passive hope, but active hope. The kind that fuels strategy, the kind that sustains resilience, the kind that believes deeply in the possibility because it has already witnessed progress. We are not alone, we are part of a strong, resilient, and visionary community. Thank you to the UCSF Black Caucus for 58 years of unwavering commitment. Thank you to each of you for the work you do each and every day to move us closer to equity and justice. And thank you for allowing me to share my story because it's not mine alone, it belongs to all of us. Every achievement represented in this room reflects the power of community. Let us leave here recommitted, renewed, and resolved. The future is not something that happens to us, it is something that we can create. And together we can build a future worthy of the legacy we've inherited and deserving of the generations who are counting on us. With that, I want to close and leave you with one last thought, again from Reverend Jesse Jackson. Hold your head high, stick your chest out. It gets dark sometimes, but morning comes. Keep hope alive.
Of children and adults living with sickle cell disease. A woman whose influence reaches from research institutions across the globe all the way to the heart of Oakland is Dr. Marsha Treadwell. Not just in policy, but in practice. In exam rooms, in community meetings, in hospital hallways, in sacred conversations with families who needed someone to see them, hear them, and fight for them. She has built networks of care across 8 states and the U.S. territory. She has led groundbreaking research. She has trained providers. She has improved transitions from pediatric to adult care for the sickle cell population. She has ensured that life-saving therapies reach the very people our system too often overlooks. But here in Oakland, we know her not just as a global leader, we know her as ours. Many of us had the privilege of working alongside her during her many decades of service at Children's Hospital Oakland. And here's what I know. Her titles describe her positions, but they do not define her impact. Awards do not define her. What defines Marsha is commitment, integrity, and an unwavering belief that Black lives, especially Black lives living with sickle cell disease, deserve the very best our systems can offer. On a personal level, I want to share what working with Marsha has meant to me. In 2018, I can't believe 2018, we were paired together to co-create what was then known as the BCH DEI Council at UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. At the time, we didn't fully understand the impact of what we were building alongside our fellow revolutionaries. We just knew that something had to change. We knew our staff and our families deserved better. We knew health equity could not just be a word, it had to be a practice. Marsha, you were so supportive of me as a new leader. You mentored me in ways that probably felt natural to you, but they were transformational for me. You held space, you listened deeply, you modeled courage without ego. You showed me that leadership does not have to be loud to be powerful. And I lead differently to this very day because of you. When I think about you, Marsha, I think about how rare it is to find work that sets your soul on fire and then happily spend 4 decades tending that flame.
That's right.
You are one of the fortunate few who have found your calling, and because you did, thousands of families are living with better care, more dignity, and more hope. On another personal level, earlier in 2025, I was having a hard time, as many of us were, and still are. The world felt heavy. The sacred spaces we had worked so hard to build for our communities of color felt like they were crumbling. It felt like the urgency and momentum of 2020, that hunger for change, had faded into chaos and backlash. I reached out to Marsha, and I hope you remember this, Marsha. Sometimes you just need someone who can center you. I reminded her of a call we had years ago when I was returning from maternity leave with my son, and she was updating me on the incredible momentum our DEI Council was building. We were so excited. All eyes were on what we could create. There was hunger, there was urgency, there was belief. And I told her I was holding on to that memory at this time as a glimmer of hope in this dark moment. Her response to me was simple, and I want everybody to catch this because this is who she is, and this is who we know her to be. She said, "Brandy, we are definitely still on the right track, even though it may not feel that we can weather the chaos and turmoil of this present time. We have to trust that our foundations are solid and the arc of the moral universe will again bend toward justice. Our community is what will get us through." Family, that is who Marsha is. In a time when Black people do not feel safe, in a time where our progress feels fragile, in a time when the work feels exhausting, she reminds us that foundations matter. She reminds us that justice does in fact have a long arc. She reminds us that community, it is not optional, it is survival. For over 40 years, Dr. Marsha Treadwell has not just advanced sickle cell care, she has strengthened the moral and medical fabric of our community. She has built systems that outlast headlines. She has mentored leaders who will carry this work forward. She has loved our people through policy, through science, through advocacy, and through presence. And tonight we honor her not just for what she has done, we honor her for who she has been to us. A steady hand, a brilliant mind, a grounding force, a woman who trusted that justice would come and worked every single day to help bend it. Everyone, please rise and join me in celebrating a visionary, a mentor, a healer in every sense of the word, Dr. Marsha Treadwell.
So much for those wonderful words and for being my co-chair for so many years. So it's really a tremendous honor to be recognized by the UCSF Black Caucus, a group that has spent over half a century, almost 60 years, in the service of excellence and equity. You've heard that I've spent 40 years in sickle cell care and research, but you may not be aware that in the early 70s, the UCSF Black Caucus initiated a landmark screening program for sickle cell anemia across the campus in the context of the pervasive underfunding and neglect of the disease. The advocacy of Black healthcare providers and the Black Panther Party led to federal funding that established the National Sickle Cell Disease Program with the Comprehensive Sickle Cell Center at Children's Hospital Oakland as one of the original 10 centers. So I'm proud to have contributed to the delivery of excellent clinical care, the conduct of cutting-edge research, development of a sickle cell workforce, and our close community partnerships. We have much more work to do to build an adult sickle cell network of care across the Bay Area that provides seamless outpatient, emergency, and inpatient care, and that's why I'm on recall, I'm not fully retired. But I'm confident that we're going to get there. I'm grateful to be a part of the amazing Sickle Cell Center of Excellence team, and I want to thank them for their stellar dedication and productivity. I'm also proud to have contributed to the Benioff Children's Hospital's inclusive access to health programming, drawing inspiration along the way from so many of my colleagues, friends, mentors, and supporters, including George Rice, After Shamsu, Brandy Hollinger-Quao, and Drs. Rene'e Navarro, Lee Atkinson-McAvoy, and Alejandro Miron, and all of the other remarkable members of our Inclusive Access to Health Council. We champion diversity, equity, inclusion, and anti-racism long before they were buzzwords, and we will continue to do so into the future, despite distortions in the true meaning of what those words mean.
Yes.
We will ensure that every child, adolescent, and young adult cared for through our UCSF Children's Health System has the opportunity to achieve their optimal health and development. We must also continue to strive to bridge divides between us within the UCSF community, particularly the Oakland San Francisco span. Finally, I could not have achieved any success without my family. My husband, Ray, and friends who's here tonight. Thank you for your guidance, patience, and support. My true north is Ubuntu. I am because we are. Ubuntu embodies the principles of care, compassion, humanity, justice, and togetherness, so exemplified by all of you and the UCSF Black Caucus. Again, much gratitude to you all, and thank you for this recognition.
Auntie Marsha!